Hello and welcome to Enlightened Conversations. Today our guest is Mr. Peter James. Mr. James, thank you so much for joining with me today.
No problem at all. Sean, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. And Mr. James is an entrepreneur. He is a member of the Chamber of Commerce and as well as a teacher. And Mr. James, I just wanted to ask you, how is it that you can wear so many different hats?
You don't even know the half of it, actually, really. I definitely, I'm married and I got 3 girls as well. And so, life keeps me busy, but I'm really ambitious. I have an ambitious mind. I want to get some things accomplished in my life. And, for lack of a better word, I just have my hands in a lot of different pots and irons. However, I want to make sure that I focus on one thing at a time in order to accomplish it. Sometimes these goals overlap a little bit, so that's why I'm doing that. So I can go into more detail a little bit about what I do when you get a chance.
Okay. And I was also going to ask, so have you always been the type to really just be a jack of all trades, or did you first start out with something and then it just, as time went on, you kind of started to get interested in different things?
Absolutely. So I started out my career after college. I went into the military as an officer. So I was an officer in the United States Army for about 8.5 years on active duty. After that, I went into corporate America, and I pursued it as a marketing and sales professional. But even with those two areas, whether it's the military or the corporate, a good example of me doing other things is I furthered my education. I worked on my MBA. I finished my MBA when I transitioned from the military to corporate. And then even after that, I began pursuing my PhD, which I'm trying to wrap up right now. Hopefully by the time this is aired, I'll be almost finished that.
Congratulations on that, yeah.
I'm hoping that a lot of the things that I'm working on the side or other things that I'm doing are helping other facets of my life. So which is why I've learned to do that fairly successfully.
Okay, and do you mind me asking, what is it that you're getting your PhD in?
So my PhD is going to be in organization and management with a focus on leadership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are teaching here at the College of DuPage. What is it that you teach here?
Yes, actually. So thank you for coming out here. We're filming, of course, from the beautiful College of DuPage campus located here in Glen Ellen, Illinois. I am the business and entrepreneurship professor here on campus, but I teach a lot of different business classes. Sure, entrepreneurship, but currently I'm even teaching organizational behavior, management, customer service, supervision, classes such as that, business-oriented classes, but my main and my main passion is in entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
Sure, absolutely.
So what is it that you teach in these entrepreneurship classes?
Very good question. So from the academic perspective, I'm teaching students what it means to, and what it looks like to start your own business.
Okay.
But from my perspective, I also want to teach students that entrepreneurial mindset. Sure, a lot of times we teach our kids, and even in academia, we want students to get a good education and then find a good job. But I believe that's only a small part of the story. I believe that it's important to teach students how to own their own career. Sure, the ability to be able to start your own business, but also to realize that, hey, going to work for somebody else for the rest of your life does not have to be your only option. And that's kind of a passion of mine. I want students to be able to see the other options that are available to them as well. So that's really what I'm passionate about.
Okay, and I actually just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on something that you just said, that having to work for someone doesn't have to be your only option. What I wanted to say about that is, it seems as if, what I'm hearing is, okay, it's, working for someone, if you want to work for someone, that's fine. But as you work for someone, you can also build your own business. Because sometimes, like when I think of entrepreneurship, I just think of I'm working for myself and that's it. Mm-hmm. I haven't really thought of it in terms of, well, I can still, work for someone else, but just have my own business on the side. Yeah. So do you feel like it's, and I'm not really sure where I wanted to go with that question, but I feel like there's 2 pots. It's like you're either an entrepreneur full time or you're working for someone else. But you just brought to my attention a third part, which is you can work for somebody else and still be an entrepreneur. Because actually, that's what you do.
Absolutely. Correct? So it's a very good question, a very insightful question at that. We live in a very unique time of history.
I agree.
And technology, transportation, and all these different resources that are available to us that haven't always been available to us in decades and centuries past are available to us now.
Right.
So now you and your audience, as maybe they work for someone else, they work for a company, and they do that 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But your computer, your laptop, your phone allows you to be able to start your own business. Could be as simple as driving for Uber. Right. Could be as simple as selling stuff on eBay at home,
right.
or whatever other business. I know many people who are into real estate, who are selling stocks and bonds online. There's a lot of other avenues that you can be pursuing, and not even just the educational route, other avenues you can be pursuing to increase your income alongside the 9 to 5 job that you continue to have as well. So the excuse of, oh, I don't have any time or I can't do it, it's kind of growing weary a little bit now because the opportunities are endless.
Right.
You just have to have the drive and determination.
Definitely. And so have you found that to be a truth for you, that, you know, I'm able to make time even though I have X, Y, and Z going on?
Yes. And so it is also a mindset of time management and focus. Sure, I remember I already mentioned I have a family. I teach here at the College of DuPage. However, you know, I want to make time to pursue my own real estate ventures. I want to make time to pursue my own entrepreneurial ventures as well, but still make sure that I am in command and control of the classes that I teach, and I'm taking care of my responsibilities here at the College of DuPage adequately as well. So, yeah, there's definitely the opportunity. I always say if I can do it, anybody can do it. That's how I look at it, really.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that. And I also wanted to say, so you have your own consulting business, correct? And you're also teaching. So do you see, even though you have your own consulting business, do you see yourself teaching for long term? Or is it that once your consultant business kind of takes off, is it going to be focused on consulting mainly?
It's funny you asked that question because I was actually reflecting on that the last couple of days.
Okay.
I have a love-hate relationship with higher education. I love it from the standpoint of the opportunities, how it opens doors for individuals, especially who have never had a chance. The part of it that is challenging for me at times is that, you know, in higher education, especially in the United States, we really focus on the metrics of what are students doing after college. Have we been successful for the students by allowing them or helping them to get a job? And as I just mentioned to you, that should not necessarily be our only identifier of success, a student getting a job after college. There's too many other avenues and too many other paths to success. There could be the trade, there could be the real estate thing, there could be the opening your business, as I just mentioned. So to answer your question, do I see myself doing it forever? I actually don't. I see myself doing it for a certain time period, and then actually hopefully passing the baton on to somebody else who may be able to even enlighten the College of DuPage even better than I have, or make a dent, as I like to call it, better than I have. And then hopefully I can go on to bigger and better things as well.
Wow, so that's very interesting. And with the entrepreneurship class, do you think that is something that should be taught in more classes around the United States?
Absolutely. So statistics will show that the number of entrepreneurial classes that are out there now and that are taught in colleges now is, I think, like 100-fold versus what was taught when I was in college as well. So entrepreneurship classes are becoming more the norm more than they ever have been in the past. However, sure, there's still room for growth, and even the different types of entrepreneurship. An example of that is social entrepreneurship, which allows you to start a business for a social cause. Good examples of that are Tom Shoes. You know, you're probably familiar with Tom Shoes, and you buy a shoe and it gives another shoe to someone in a deserving country. Those are examples of businesses that can be started, and even courses that can be started in order to gear towards a specific niche.
Definitely. I see. And I was also going to ask, I had a question that I'm going to just look up really quickly. So what is it about this entrepreneurship journey that makes it worthwhile to you?
Mm-hmm. It's a passion of mine, really. I have to say, it's really something that, yearning to a certain extent, a betterment that I really wish for many people in society. So from the standpoint of, I have been through, I'm a little bit older than you, so I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations over my life. Successes, lots of successes. I've done relatively well financially, and even from a business standpoint, I've done well even navigating the career field. However, I have a yearning for more, to do more in society, and by doing so, I'm hoping to touch lives who may not have the opportunity or not be aware of the opportunity that's available to them as well. So with that in mind, that's my quest to continue learning, be a lifelong learner,
right.
But at the same time, share my knowledge, share my experiences so that other people may be able to experience the successes that I have been, at the very least, or even more than that, you know.
Okay, and I want to bring up a question that just kind of popped up into my head from a book that I've been reading. So I was reading this book, and I believe in the book it says something about humans. We have a natural tendency to want to feel important, and want to, I guess, impact the world, so to speak.
Sure.
So do you feel like this entrepreneur journey for you is something that helps to make you feel important?
Absolutely. Is it helping me make it feel important? That's funny. Absolutely. That's one part of it.
Right.
Undoubtedly. A good example of that is this, and you know, most people who are watching can relate to this. I know a young lady right now who has a pretty decent job, but in the job that she's in, they're not utilizing her to her capabilities. Actually, in most days, she has nothing to do.
Wow.
Sure, she's getting paid a decent salary. However, because she's not being worked to her capabilities,
right.
or she doesn't have a whole lot to do, she's miserable. And surprisingly, most people, although they're getting paid, if they're not working up to their capability or being engaged thoroughly, they're miserable, which is why a lot of times you see so many people, and you'll meet so many people who are not happy at their jobs. 75% of Americans are miserable at their jobs right now. They're not fulfilling their capability. So, again, going back to your question, does this yearning, does this thirst for the entrepreneurship thing, does this really satisfy me? Does it really provide for me? Absolutely. It's a quest to a certain extent. I don't want it to drive me crazy by any means, but at the same time, it's that never-ending quest to learning the next thing, for success, and then also to help others learn that along the ride. Yeah, absolutely.
And you brought up something that I find pretty interesting when you said, you know a young lady that isn't using her full potential.
Absolutely.
And I feel like once you've gotten into the routine of not utilizing your full potential, I feel like it then becomes the norm for you to operate at just half of your capacity.
Sure.
So now you're used to operating at half of your capacity, and you go through life like that. And now when someone tells you, hey, I think you can do this, or I think you can do that, you can't really see it for yourself, because you're like, well, I've been operating at this level for so long, I don't know if I can get out of that. So what would you say to people that, have been operating at a level that is not where they truly should be? Like, how can they get out of that rut?
Sure. Very interesting question. And so I coach and consult with a lot of individuals who fall in that category. So going back to that young lady who I just gave you the example about, one of the things that I also notice about the environment that she's working at, almost everybody in the organization falls in that category as well. So the organization has a culture of being lackadaisical, not achieving their full potential. So as an organization, how are they ever going to excel, succeed, really work to their capability? They're not. And so now it's breeding and fostering individuals who, even if they go to another job and they are challenged, they might get a little frustrated that they're being worked that hard. So that environment fosters and breeds just really discontent, really laziness, for lack of a better word. How do individuals get out of that? I'm a big advocate of surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. And so I coach on that, and I teach on that. Surrounding yourselves, exposing yourself to individuals who want more, who desire more, who really want to challenge themselves. So at the end of the day, you're going home, you're laying down in bed saying, "Wow, had a great day. I accomplished a whole lot." But then, if you're stuck in that rut, if you're stuck in that type of an organization, you might need to seek that circle, those type of people outside of the organization in order to challenge you. And then maybe even yearn, maybe if your job is so great, as I like to call it sometimes, they're the golden handcuffs. Maybe you need to seek that type of entrepreneurial venture or education or individuals who you can surround yourself with outside of the organization, so that you continue to develop yourself. Your mind doesn't get turned to mush, for lack of a better word. You continue to grow, and then eventually, actually, you'll be even out of that scenario and where you need to be. And it just so happens that way as well. I know that was a long way to answer your question.
No, I think that was great, because you just brought up so many things that I want to talk about now, especially with the whole organizational environment, and how important it is of the environment to be conducive that you are in. Because I know for me, my job right now, the environment is, like you said, is really lackadaisical, and people there are, in my opinion, I feel like people there could do more. They're not really operating at their full potential. And I feel that that's a harmful environment to be in, because even for me, sometimes I may find myself saying, well, you know what, if everybody else feels this way, I'm going to be feeling way too. Yeah. It's easy. And it's, what I want to say is it's like a groupthink type of psychology, to where I'm not naturally like that. I'm naturally positive. I'm naturally upbeat. But once I get in that environment and I get around all these people that are just like not really feeling the way I feel, I start to feel how they feel. But then once I come out of work, I'm like, okay, I need to snap back to myself. And I found that to be detrimental.
It's challenging. It's very psychological. It's very much human nature. Jim Rome says it best: you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So, those of you who are watching, you have to think about it. Who are the 5 people that I hang around with the most? And what is their mindset like? Right. What is their mentality like? Is it a growth mindset, or is it a stagnant mindset? So now go back to those people you hang around with or work around at work. And if they are kind of stagnant or just flat, human nature, we as human beings, we have a tendency to attach ourselves to what's in our circle, what's closest to us. And although you might yearn for more, a lot of times you get stuck in that same place. So which is why it's so important to make a plan to get out of that environment, but at the very least to surround yourself with individuals outside of that organization, or maybe in that organization, who are like-minded, who are thinking things on next levels, as opposed to just, you know what, I'm really comfortable here, I'm getting a paycheck, I'm thankful to get paid every 2 weeks. It's really important to yearn and continue to strive for more as well.
Diversify your social circle. A lot of it, you hear the term diversify your portfolio. You may just need to diversify your social circle.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to ask you, so do you feel as if you wish you would have encountered this entrepreneurship journey like years ago when you were younger, or do you feel that it happened when it was supposed to happen?
Yes, I think everything, especially in my life, everything happened for a reason. My mom was an immigrant. Came over to the United States from St. Vincent, which is in the Caribbean, to London, to New York City. In her defense, she didn't know to teach me this entrepreneurial mindset. She wasn't raised that way. She did a great job teaching me what she knew. She really did a great job of, preparing me for the world. Get a good education, get a good job. However, over time, I have learned what the next step is. So now, with my children, I want to be able to teach them that next step. In this case, it's the entrepreneurial mindset that I'm sharing with you here. And then I hope for their next generation, my kids are teaching them the next level of what I don't know.
Right.
Whatever that may be down the road, decades down the road. Mm-hmm. So it's an evolution, for lack of a better word. I'm just hoping I'm doing my part for the benefit of my own kids, but also, as I mentioned, for the benefit of those around me who I'm passionate to also teach about this as well.
Yeah, I like that. And do you feel that the entrepreneurship term or the whole entrepreneurship aspect has been glamorized?
Yeah. I hate the fact that it's a buzzword now. Everybody wants to start their own business, but they really don't know what it entails, which is why almost 75% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. Mm-hmm. It's very glamorized. The Gary Vaynerchuk's, the Tai Lopez's, mm-hmm. all those types of individuals who we watch on YouTube, who we listen to in their podcasts. It's very glamorized. Even in the regular television channels, Shark Tank is glamorizing it for us as well. People don't really understand from a business perspective what goes into being a successful business. And as a result, people just want to jump in, but really are not students of the game to a certain extent. So the mindset is the first step. You really have to kind of embrace the whole mindset. Again, surround yourself with individuals who are there, who are on the journey as well, mm-hmm. but who really have goals, dreams, ideals that match yours. That's the beginning. But then after that, being a student, and then not letting the failures, because there will be failures, affect your psyche, affect your mindset as well.
And I mean, as far as like entrepreneurship being glamorized, like you said, like there are going to be people that jump into it just because of what they see. But I feel like, we need all of our collective parts to make everything work. So for those people that are not entrepreneurs, embrace it. Yeah. I feel like, if you're not an entrepreneur, embrace it. If your dream is to just work at 9 to 5 and you can come home and just spend the rest of the day with your family, then by all means, do whatever makes you happy. Because I'm just a firm believer in doing whatever makes you happy. Genuinely, like looking inside yourself and saying, okay, if I do go this route, is this something that I truly want to do? Sure. Because entrepreneurship may not be for you. But yeah, because I feel like even us as entrepreneurs, like we need other people. Yes. Around us. Everyone can't be the entrepreneur. Everyone can't be the person that's working the 9 to 5. We all need our moving parts.
Yeah, there are people who need to be in 9 to 5 jobs. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely probably what they're cut out to. Not everybody's cut out for this entrepreneurial journey by a long shot. It's a challenge. It's a process. There's no such thing as overnight success. Let me say that again. There is no such thing as I start the entrepreneurship game today, and in a week, a month, I'm going to be a millionaire. It is a road. It is a journey, which is why the mindset is so important, because during that road, during those months and years of failures, of challenges, of dips and highs and lows, you're going to have to continue to feed yourself, surround yourself, read, study, watch YouTube, and listen, like we were talking about before we got on here, listening to books on tape or a podcast. Continue to feed yourself that mindset and even study the game that you're in order to make it more successful. Not everybody's cut out for that. Ironically, some people are more cut out to go back to school and have someone teach them. My biggest challenge with higher education is that when you go back to school, are you really working to become a master at your craft, or are you working just to get that A?
Wow.
So there's really a delineation there that needs to be really analyzed in your mind about which direction you're headed and how you're planning on getting there.
Wow. So thank you, Peter James, so much for this talk.
It's great. Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Thank you for having me. Truly, good luck to you as you move forward in this great YouTube.